All right, so Algebra 2, Chapter 6, Lesson 4, Multiplying, Section B. So we're just going to go over some of the examples that they have here. And what you have is a classic situation of distribution, using the distribution law. So traditionally you'll draw your little arrows or rainbows or whatever those are called that you like to use. And basically each term inside of here gets multiplied by that radical 3. So radical 3 times x minus radical 3 times radical 5. Now, all they do here is rearrange it, because traditionally the x or whatever our whole numbers are will be out front. And then from here, they said, well, I can put this all over one radical and do 3 times 5, which gives me radical 15. So that's part of our product rule. And you're done. So if you take a moment and look over into our exercises over here, you want to say, okay, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing on this guy, number 6, as you did over here, paying attention to the product rule and numbers in front. All right, so let's look at the next one. All right, so example 8. Again, we're using the distribution law, so each one of these is going to be multiplied by the cube root of y. But something else happens here, where these just combine underneath the arc. We actually end up over here, when I have y to the 1 and y to the 2nd, giving me y to the 3rd. All of a sudden I can say, well, I can simplify that 3rd root of y to the 3rd down to y. So same distribution law, but it just says one step further in terms of being able to simplify. Number 7, because we do exercises 6 and 7, you're going to again use the distribution law, but notice that you're going to have an A2 and an A1 being multiplied together, which means you add their exponents, and we have a cube root. So of what can you simplify out and what you can't. So you're going to want to use number 8 to help you on that problem there. Okay, so scooting down to example 9. Now we have the multiplication of two binomials. And the neat thing is it's going to follow the same rules of FOIL, of front, outer, inner, and last. So one way that you can do it, as they have here, is that you do just that. You're going to multiply your front terms together. You're going to multiply your outer terms together. And so negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. And then you're going to multiply the radical 3 times the radical 2, which they have here, which then gives them radical 6. Okay. You have your inners. So radical 2 times radical 3, as you will see here, they multiplied their inners, giving them again radical 6. And then their last, radical 2 times negative 5 radical 2, which gives them negative 5 radical 2 squared. So from there they just start simplifying. Well, any square root of 3 squared is just going to be 3. They already have done the multiplication for these guys. And again, square root of 2 squared is 2. So multiply, simplify, doing the whole numbers. And then this is a negative 20 and a positive 1, which gives us our negative 19 and 12 minus 10. So that is how they go about it. It's just classic FOIL method. So when you look at the margin exercise in the middle, you're going to be doing the same thing. So number 10 example, we're going to follow the same FOIL methods, front, outers, inners, and lasts. And from here, simplify. Product rule under the same, product rule under the same radical, etc. And well, anything multiplied to itself, the radical to itself, is just itself. Since none of these can be simplified, then that is in fact your final answer. So let's look at example 11. So on this one, we end up with a slightly different situation because what we're going to end up with is actual final answer, because once we do our front and our inners, now notice our inners, this is what they got going on here, is a positive and then a negative. Those end up canceling out. So my inners and my outers cancel out, leaving with me with just my front and then my last of radical 7 times negative radical 7. Thus, this answer here. Squares, break it out, minus square of square root 7 breaks it out, and then you just have a simple answer. So it is possible to actually be able to simplify these down to a single answer. Number 12 is actually basically the same thing as example 11, but just in terms of variables. That again, we're going to do our front, inners, and outers, and last, but my inners and my outers are going to end up canceling each other out and simplifying down to 0, basically. And then my front is going to be squared because it's the radical a times radical a, which means it's times itself, so it's squared, breaks it out, squared, breaks it out, and then that is your final answer. You'll see it says do examples 8 through 11. We'll look at those in just a moment. And then last but not least is actually the square of the binomial. So when it says multiply, and remember what that means is you're actually going to multiply it to itself. So you're going to do another set of parentheses and do radical 3 plus x over here, and then do your FOIL method of your front, outers, inners, and last. So once you do that, this is your answer here. And then we can simplify that one and only that one and get our final answer here. So make sure you have those down, and just wanted to be able to give you guys a chance to see our exercise. So again, 8 through 11 are your classic FOIL method for your guided practice, and then 12 and 13.